Hey, true believers, Chris Mack coming at you today with Savage Avengers, Issue 1. And I remember when this book was announced back in 2019, which seems like forever at this point. But I remember getting super pumped. And when this dropped, I had to make sure that freaking ran some stop signs, not really, to go get this book. Because it was just an interesting idea of the Avengers teaming up with Conan the Barbarian. And when you dive into this book is very macabre. So if you are squeamish, this is not for you. This book, like what's happening is it takes place in the normal 616 modern universe. And it's called this, and what's taking place is a bunch of like powerful, talented, intelligent people of our time are being taken to the Savage Lands to this place called the City of Sickles. And they want to be, essentially, are going to be sacrificed. And I mean, look at that. Brrr, that is hard stuff to look at. And this is what I mean by, yeah, this book is intense. I think what really drew me to it is it kind of reminded me, in a sense, of Craig Kyle and Christopher Yost's X-Force run, where that book was kind of a no-hold bars. This was the same concept. So if you kind of want to know what spun this book, go ahead and pause and read about chapter 1. And then we're going to jump over here and talk about who made it. This is Gerry Duggan writing. Artist, Mike Deodato Jr. Color artist, Frank Martin. Letter, VC, Travis Lanham. There's everybody else working on the book. Avengers and the X-Men, created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Now, diving in, after we get that horrific opening, we don't get a minute to breathe. We are talking about Conan here just ripping in. And, I love talking about the art here. I love Mike Deodato Jr.'s artwork. It's spot on. However, anytime that I see Conan, in my mind's eye, I always go back to, who was it? Sal Buscema, I believe, who was the artist. He just knew how to draw this Cimmerian well. And don't get me wrong, this is beautiful. But I think that's a bias of mine, as I always think of him or didn't his son, John Buscema, do some too? I can't remember off the top of my head, but he knew how to draw Conan. So anytime I see anyone else, I'm like, it looks good, but my mind always goes back to those early Marvel days. But man, look at the artwork. Look at the way that our, how he says, crush your enemies. And he's stuck in the Savage Land. And so here, he's going after this amulet. He's basically questing for, treasure. But he runs into the hand. And oh man, you cannot get a moment to breathe. You're just seeing him tear through stuff. And then what's great, spoiler alert here, so if you don't want this to be spoiled, go get the book, come back, read it, and you're back. As Conan's tearing through the hand, you see him pull back, clang, and he's got this look of like, what in Crom's name is going on? And he flipped the page and Logan. I got the last one. Crom. And at this point, Logan sees it as a threat, and he's like, fuck Crom and fuck you. And I just snick, and slash right across the Cimmerian's face. And the first half of this book, I don't want to give away the whole thing, but my God, is the fight sequence absolutely amazing. And when Conan thinks that he's defeated Logan, he's just like, I'm not dead yet, bub. Devil! And then just the fight continues. And they end up smashing into this basement. And as I like, as they both, come around, what does he do? He goes for the beer. All right. And Conan, being the warrior he is, gives his enemy a drink, and he's like, thanks, Popeye needed his spinach. And so I like here how Wolverine references that the Savage Land belongs to Khazar or Khazar, however you want to pronounce it. He's like, I do not know that name. I was in battle alongside the Avengers. And then I came here to this cursed place. And so the introductions are made. And I like how through the dialogue here, because at first you're like, what the hell is Logan doing here? And they don't explain nothing through the battle, which is great because, Falcon did make a good point in, Civil War, when he's fighting Spider-Man. He goes, there's usually not this much dialogue or, talking and fighting. So that was a really nice little piece of verisimilitude in this comic book. But here, just through natural dialogue, Wolverine says, I ain't here for no treasure. Look, bub, there's easier places to knock over, but I take it you're not from around these parts. I am Conan of Cimmeria, bub. And Logan is just like, I am Logan of Paps. Hell, Logan of Paps. Your sneak blades make you a formidable foe. Truly, I have never met a man as deathless as you. And they talk about what's your business here. So they have a dialogue. Logan kind of explains who the Hands is, what's going on with the City of Sickles, and then they part ways. It's a very awesome moment how two warriors come to fight, kind of reconcile, talk to one another and say, if you ever need help, we're here. And then they part. And then we cut over to Madripoor with Dr. Voodoo. And he's talking about how some of the most powerful gangsters on the planet, or not on the planet, but in Madripoor, have gone missing. And here, these two panels, this is all you need. And this kind of reminds me of Charlie Cox's Daredevil. Let me explain. So he knows this woman named Yun, who I think her son is a crime lord here in Madripoor. He goes, I'm getting the sense that there's something supernatural about it. Though I do wish she would have told me the Hand was behind this and that they're here now. And Yun just still has her head kind of dipped in shame. She goes, they said they would return my boy if I called for you, Dr. Voodoo. The Hand only takes Yun. And then, boom, here comes the Hand. And like Voodoo's just like, did you think I would come to Madripoor unprepared? The only downfall right here is this would have been a moment to get some more action. But we don't get to really see how Voodoo gets brought to the Savage Land, which was disappointing. And here, friggin' Conan just climbing this building. And all of a sudden, what? And before the guy can even recognize what just happened, Conan's like, bah. Now, and then the artwork. I mean, the story, as I said, it serves its purpose. There's some great moments. And then Deodato and the art team just, oh my God. I mean, look at this. This looks like something you would see in a Conan movie. It very much has that muted color palette of what you would like see in a, think of first Conan the Barbarian with Arnold Schwarzenegger, how everything was very desert feeling. So this has that muted desert palette. And when this god that they're trying to summon rises, that is just one rough panel to look at. And what I like here is as the book goes on, you're still left with more questions than answers. And then a certain somebody is trying to be summoned to the Savage Land. And that leaves you wanting more. Guys, I've forgotten how flapping good this book was. Is it, and I've said this before, is this the next great American novel? No. But if you love Avengers, you love Conan, you love the X-Men, boom, yummy. This book is right up your alley, guys. So if you've enjoyed what you've seen, please first and foremost support your local comic shop and pick up a copy. If you have enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you won't mind hitting that fancy little crom bell next to subscribe, that way is where we continue to upload content. You guys will get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with y'all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.